friends, welcome back to Mimi Homestyle. Today I've got this sweetest little DIY for Thanksgiving, perfect for gifting to guests at the table. We're going to be making some adorable mini crusty loaves of bread with jellies or hazelnut spreads, and we're going to wrap them up in a nice cellophane bag with a cute tag, and I'll share all my storage tips so you can make these ahead of time and keep them fresh. I'll also share some gifting options and ways to wrap these. So let's dive in. So let's get started. We are going to be making this bread. The first thing that you're going to need is you're going to have to grease some bread pans. Now I wanted to have the mini pans, so I got these on Amazon. I've had these for years, so I have a bunch of them. They come in a large pack. But if you don't want to go on Amazon and get them, you can also go to like Hobby Lobby, or you can go to the Dollar Tree. They have those ceramic ones that are kind of decorative, and you can use those as long as they go in the oven. And then, or you can go to like Michael's, that kind of stuff. But we're going to need to grease these pans. So I use regular butter. I like Land O'Lakes. That's my favorite butter. So I'm going to be using that to grease these up. And I'm going to be doing about 3 of them. There's only my husband and I and my son who are going to be here for Thanksgiving this year. And so I'm just going to make this for us to have for the next morning or maybe the next day with our leftovers. You're going to also need 2 cups of flour. Now you can use regular flour with this, but I like to use bread flour when I'm making this bread, and you can use either one. So if you want to do that, you're also going to need a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of baking soda. And then you're also going to need a cup of buttermilk. Now, if you don't have buttermilk on hand, you can also use regular milk and then a tablespoon of vinegar. Stir that up and let it set for about 5 minutes, and then you'll have the consistency of the buttermilk. But I have buttermilk on hand because I went and bought this. And so now we're going to pour all of this into this bowl. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to add your dry ingredients. So we're going to put in the flour, and then we're going to be putting in the salt, and we're going to be putting in the baking soda. And then I'm just going to stir this up just a little bit so it gets mixed in. And then after we mix this up, what we're going to do is we're going to create a well in the center of this mixture. And that's where we're going to be pouring our, where we're going to be pouring our milk. So I'm going to take this out, and we're going to be doing that. And then we'll mix it again after I'm done here. So we're going to add a well in the center of this mixture. And then we're going to pour the buttermilk in the middle of that. And we have a whole cup of that. And then we're going to start mixing this up. Now again, you can use the mixer, or you can just use a spoon until this gets all incorporated and mixed up. And it's going to look like a dough when you get done mixing it. Once you have this mixed, you're going to take a little bit more of the bread flour, and you're going to just be evenly distributing the dough in the pan. And then after we're done with that, I'll show you what else I'm going to do. And we're going to do that for all 3 of the pans. Once I have these in the pan, I scored an X in the middle of the dough, and then we're going to put it in this 425-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes, or until the bread is like a golden brown. So we're going to put them in the oven now, and then we're going to wait for them to rise and come out. Now they're looking really good, and so we're going to take them out, and we're going to set them on a cooling rack. If you don't have a cooling rack, that's fine. You can just set them on top of your stove maybe, or on something that you can put something hot on, like a hot plate or whatever. And we are going to take these out. These are looking great. And we're going to set them on here, and we want these to cool completely before we wrap them up. And they look really good, actually. So I'm very excited about these. They've got that golden brown look, and we are going to let these cool completely, like I said. And yeah, and then in a minute, I will show you how we're going to wrap these. So now that our bread is cooled, we're going to wrap them up. And what I did is I went to my Dollar Tree. You can also get these at Walmart, Michael's. It's always in the party section. Some clear cellophane bags. So I always have these on hand for wrapping treats and baked goods in. And then I also had some ribbon. I had this on hand, but you can get it at the Dollar Tree as well. You can get ribbon, cute ribbon at Walmart. I love going there for another option. And then, so I cut those in some strips. And then I also made a cute little tag. And this one says, "A little loaf baked with love and gratitude. Happy Thanksgiving." It goes with the colors scheme of my Thanksgiving table. And I created that in Canva, and I'm going to add that in a minute. And then I also, when I was at the Dollar Tree, I got these cute little Nutella spreads, and I'm going to put that with the bread. So when we put that at the table, I'm going to set this next to it as well. And so I got some smaller cellophane bags, some little shorter ones, and then I'm just tying it tightly with some twine, and that's going to go next to the bread as well. So let's get going. I'm going to put this bread in here like so. And then what you can do, if it's too hard for you to tie this around it, you can actually add like a piece of twine first and then wrap the ribbon around if you want to. That way then the bag doesn't open up on you when you're trying to tie it into a bow or whatever. I like to just tie these in a knot, and that's it. I don't even like making a bow. Sometimes I do if I have the wired ribbon, but I just like doing it like this and then adding the tag, and then we're going to cut it on the end. So I'm going to add the tag, and I love having a tag on here to thank everybody for coming. This year, it's just going to be my husband and my son and I. So like I said, you know, it's still nice to have something to have my son take home with him so he can share it with his friends and stuff like that. But anyway, then I just cut it off on an angle like so. And then there you have it. These are going to go at each table setting along with the little mini Nutellas that I wrapped as well. This was really easy to wrap. Like I said, it was just a smaller bag and some twine. I always have twine on hand. I love using twine. Now, some other ways that you can wrap these breads. I love the idea of using a paper bag. And then I'm also going to have these larger tags in my description below that you can print up. And then you just slip the bread inside the bag and then add a little clothespin, and then close the bag up that way with the tag like that. And it just makes it look really festive and fun. Another idea is to get like a tea towel and then take the bread, actually, you can either leave it in the container or you can take the bread out of the container and then wrap the bread in a nice little tea towel and then add ribbon around the tea towel to tighten it up. And then you can have that as well for your guests, or maybe you're having a Friendsgiving and you can wrap your bread up that way. And then another idea is to also get a gift basket. And that would be probably for somebody that you know is going to be shut in for the night. They can't come to your party. They might be sick or something like that. Or maybe they just can't even get out and you want to send them a meal and then maybe some of your bread. I think a basket filled with like some teas and a coffee, some jams, you know, maybe like a little teaspoon would be really nice, or a coffee spoon. Just add all of those things, maybe a little mini candle, and then just put it all together in a basket and then send that over to somebody that you know is really needing a pick-me-up. I love doing that. That's what this time of year is all about. So those are just some of the ways that I love to wrap this bread up. So next, what I'm going to talk to you about is how to store these, because you can make these ahead of time. So let's talk about that next. So I wanted to point out that after you gift these loaves of bread, you need to let your guests know that their peak freshness will be 2 to 3 days after they get their loaves of bread. They probably won't even last that long. I mean, these are small, so they'll probably go home and eat them anyway. Then you can also, if you want to, just store these in the fridge. You'll just wrap these up and then put them in an airtight container. And then when you put them in the fridge, they'll last 3 to 4 days in an airtight container. So just keep that in mind if you're going to be putting them on the table for your guests on Thanksgiving, because that will include that 2 to 3 days or whatever that you have to eat the bread. But then what I'm doing is I made these ahead, so I'm going to be putting them in freezer bags. So just make sure that you wrap these nice and tight into some cellophane, and I did with these little gift bags. And so then I'm going to put it in a freezer bag, and then I'm going to be putting these in my freezer. Now, you can actually do these like a month ahead if you want to. Just make sure they're in these nice tight freezer bags and they're wrapped double before you put them in the freezer. And then the day before, take them out to let them thaw, and then you can put them on your table. Or you can even take them out the morning of, and they'll be thawed before your dinner time at night. And you can put them at your place settings. Let's take a look at some more Thanksgiving favor ideas that you can use on your tables this year. I hope you enjoyed my Thanksgiving favor ideas. I love handing out favors at my gatherings because they're a simple way to show appreciation to my guests, and it makes each person feel special. It's like sending a little piece of the celebration home with them, a keepsake they can remember the day by. Plus, favors add a unique personal touch to the table that really brings the event together. So let me know if you try any of these or if you have some fun ideas of your own. Thank you so much for joining me today on Mimi Homestyle. I hope these Thanksgiving mini bread favors inspire you to bring a little homemade warmth to your holiday table. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And next week, I'll be showing you how to set up a beautiful Thanksgiving table on a budget with a cute centerpiece. And don't forget to set up a cozy hot cider and tea bar for the day. You can check out my video on that if you need ideas. And remember to grab the favor tags down below, and please comment some of your favorite Thanksgiving ideas. And share this video as well if you know of somebody who might need some inspiration. I can't wait to see you all again next week. Happy Thanksgiving planning. Hey friends, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you found some fun and budget-friendly ideas to bring into your home. A special shout out to all my subscribers. You guys are amazing. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss a video. I post weekly with more home decor, party planning, and DIY goodness. Also, check out my shop at Grin and Print on Etsy. I've got some fun games, printables, and party supplies that I know you'll love. Thanks again for all your support, and I'll see you in the next video.